Welcome to NFL News Update, where touchdowns meet headlines. Stay in the game with the freshest NFL updates. This is your quick dive into football fervor.
Jadeveon Clowney is headed back to the Carolinas. The edge rusher agreed to terms with the Carolina Panthers on a 2-year, $20 million contract with a max value of $24 million. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported Wednesday, per sources informed of the situation. The team later officially announced the deal. The Rock Hill native and South Carolina Gamecock star visited the Panthers and New York Jets, while also staying in touch with the Baltimore Ravens. Ultimately, the Panthers made the plunge to upgrade a pass rush crew after trading Brian Burns and losing Frankie Louvu in free agency. The former No. 1 overall pick by Houston in 2014, Clowney joins his 6th pro team in 11 seasons. In his 10 seasons, Clowney has generated 52.5 sacks, including tying a career-high 9.5 with the Ravens in 2023. He's not a high-volume sack artist, having never hit the double-digit mark in a season, but he can still provide pressure off the edge and is stout against the run. Between the Burns trade and Louvu and Yetur Gross-Matos losses in free agency, the Panthers saw 45.5% of their QB pressures and 67% of their sacks from 2023 leave the roster. Adding Clowney to pair with free agent addition DJ Wonnum helps close that gap. A versatile Clowney, who played in numerous systems in his decade in the NFL, should fit nicely in defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero's scheme. At 31 years old, Clowney is on the back nine of his career, but he can still be disruptive, generating pressure and playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. For the rebuilding Panthers, his presence is a welcome addition up front. Joe Burrow's deal is done. T. Higgins is franchise tagged for 2024. Ja'Marr Chase should be the next order of business, right? Ideally, that's the Bengals' plan, but they have little reason to move swiftly. Chase is entering year 4 of his rookie contract, and the Bengals can still exercise his 5th-year option this spring, securing his services in Cincinnati through 2025. Plus, there are some other market forces the Bengals would prefer to watch play out from the sideline, for now, at least. We haven't started, Bengals EVP Katie Blackburn recently said of negotiations with Chase via the Cincinnati Enquirer. That's sort of the next thing, is just to piece together some of those things to consider and give it some thought. And like I said, I can't say for sure where any of it will go, but we certainly are going to study up on it and see what we can figure out to try to get the best result we can for the club one way or another. The best result for the club is, of course, retaining Chase at a number that doesn't completely break Cincinnati's bank or salary cap. The studying up portion of Blackburn's response, however, is an indirect nod toward another contract the football world is collectively awaiting: Justin Jefferson's impending deal with the Minnesota Vikings. It's a storyline that has remained in the news cycle for weeks, if not months. Chase's former LSU teammate undoubtedly deserves to get paid, and it sounds as if the Vikings intend to do so soon, ideally before Jefferson's 5th-year option season commences in September. Until then, though, the Bengals have little reason to do anything but stand pat and let Jefferson's extension reset the market, especially considering they'll have not just Chase, but also Higgins to attempt to extend within the next 11 months. We like these guys. We have to work within the salary cap, Blackburn said, so we have to figure out what that will mean and how it can all stay together. That's just what we have to work on and see where it takes us. It's late March, so folks are itching for news. The Bengals have young talent their fans are desperately hoping won't leave town for greener pastures. But these deals are going to take time, so it's best to get comfortable waiting. The Philadelphia Eagles addition of Saquon Barkley provides another game-changing talent who will command the ball in an offense that already boasts A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Head coach Nick Sirianni noted on Tuesday that he's not worried about how Barkley will fit because he'd make any offense better. The Eagles will spend the offseason figuring out the best way to deploy the dual-threat back. Anytime you get really good players, it's always exciting, Sirianni said while attending the annual league meeting via the team's official website. I always say this: the secret to good coaching is get good players, and we got a really good player. We're figuring the different ways we can use him. That doesn't necessarily mean that every way he's been used in the past is how we're going to use him. There might be some things that are untapped, There might be some things that we've never done that we can do now. Might be things that he's never done. That unknown gives us a lot of options and ways to incorporate Saquon, because he has that kind of skill set. There are a lot of things that can happen as we put this all together. When healthy, Barkley is a field-tilting force who can gash on the ground and is a force in the passing game. During his rookie season, he generated 1,307 rushing yards and 721 receiving yards on 91 catches. Barkley never got close to those pass-catching numbers again in the next 5 years in New York, but the talent is there. When asked about the Barkley addition, Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie compared the running back to former Eagles greats LeSean McCoy and Brian Westbrook for what they brought to the passing attack. I think with Saquon, one of the things we always talk about, whether it was LeSean McCoy, Brian Westbrook, is the value of a running back is it's not even the word of the title running back. You have to be a great passing attack running back as well. For us, it's got to be multifunctional, Lurie said on Tuesday, per the team's transcript. And he exhibited a very special skill set both in the running and the passing game that we think certainly can be maximized by being on a team with better skill positions, quarterback, offensive line. So it was a strategy to go. The Eagles went from spending low on RBs the past several years to handing Barkley a contract that averages $12.583 million. Lurie dismissed the idea that the Eagles went from being stingy at the position to overindulging, noting that his club has never shied away from paying the right players. I know people think, well, we don't spend on the running back position, he said. That's never really been the case. We would do it very carefully. So LeSean McCoy, Brian Westbrook, those are instances of players that are really multi-purpose running backs that improve the passing attack, improve the running attack. And I think, GM Howie Roseman said it's hard to find exceptionally talented players. If you think about it, what we pay Saquon Barkley, take another position of what that's getting in the league and you tell me, is it better to pay Saquon that kind of money or a player at a different position that's getting the exact same amount of money? That's a decision. And Howie led the way there and felt that Saquon was the right way to spend that money. Now it's on Sirianni and his staff to make that money spent worthwhile.